Warriors win. Warriors win. Warriors win. They're the number one team in the West. They just took the Hawks apart. Size in the house. Golden Days meets the Krug Show. Paulie Mack is hanging out. Let's go right freaking now. All right, welcome to the Krug Show meets Golden Days. Paulie Mack is with us. Warriors win. Warriors win. Warriors win. Feeling good. We're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. We're also brought to you by Mancini's Sleep World. Mancini's is a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. With Mancini's, you get free next day delivery, and you get a great deal if you're a Krug Show fan. Click the link below or go to sleepworld.com. Find a bed that works for you. Whether shopping online or visiting in store, use the code KRUG10, K-R-U-E-G 10, and you'll get 10% off. That's KRUG10, K-R-U-E-G 10, and you'll get 10% off in any of the Mancini's locations or online at sleepworld.com. And Cy, you have a sponsor or so that you'd like to shout out. Fire away.
Please, thank you, sir. And Paul, dude, I just love that Paulie's here with us as well, Larry.
Yeah.
Now it's like perfect at this moment. I like this. Paulie's Particles, folks, subscribe, and also, folks, give some love. Where'd I go?
I was switching. So sorry about that.
How dare you? How dare you? I'm kidding. Never. Sorry. In reality, Larry, I bow to you, sir. Bet Online is who I'm sponsoring here, or who sponsors the Golden Days, the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting, from the earliest odds to in-game live betting, which I need to start doing more often because that's where the money is, I think. Bet Online provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen with the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, college basketball, NHL, UFC, MMA, and so much more. Head to the website of Bet Online today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet Online, the game starts here. Gentlemen, hello.
What a game. What a game, man. Golden State just took it to them from the beginning. This game was over at the half. Man, I was looking at some of the numbers in the first half, guys, that were just amazing. Yeah. Warriors came out 21 assists, 5 turnovers. Hawks in the first half, 12 assists, 11 turnovers. Warriors scored 15 off those Hawks turnovers. Golden State was plus 10 on the break in the first half, plus 18 points in the paint. Atlanta missed 8 free throws in the first half, and the Warriors defense held Atlanta to 30% from the field, while Golden State shot 48%. Guys, it was over at halftime. I mean, this thing was 67-42 at the break. Hawks had a nice little third quarter to cut into it a little bit, but it was pretty much done at halftime. Warriors are very impressive. I mean, they're doing this with numbers. They're 5-1 at home. They're elite at defending the three. The Hawks are a bad defending of the three team.
The worst. The worst.
The worst. Yeah. And yet Golden State, gets a nice win here, despite the fact that it's this Atlanta team's got some talent. I thought the guy that impressed me tonight, first of all, Wiggins was awesome. Wiggins was really, really good.
Yeah, Wiggins was great. Yeah,
Wiggins was fantastic, and Draymond Green was really, really good.
Yes.
But the guy that I just can't get over how good he is Trace Jackson Davis. I mean, he played 22 minutes. He had 14, 11, and 4 in 22 minutes.
See, that's,
guys. Go ahead, Paulie. Well, I was going to say, Paulie, so I hosted a quick part 1 for the Golden Days audience, just because they're thirsting for action right after the game. And I was very surprised, dude. I thought I'd be starting the show with the chat just bubbling, like it'd be a party celebration type vibe. And a lot of people were pissed off, and I don't blame them, but they were upset because Kuminga played just 15 minutes in this game, and he had an awesome first half. And it was one of those things where it's like, on one hand, I get it, because especially his net rating in the second half, there were like 4 players in the second half who allowed the Hawks to cut a 31-point lead down to 15. Like, they were coming back there for a little while, and I'm guessing the coaching staff got nervous. but I had a lot of disgruntled folks in my chat who are not happy with the way Kuminga is being treated. 15 minutes is weird. It's makes me almost think like he might be on the trading block. I thought it was just like the coaching staff was a prisoner of the moment, and they just went with a hot hand. That is what I took from it. But some people are worried about Kuminga, man, and I don't blame them. But what do you guys think about that?
I thought, well, for starters, I want to take a step back before we dive into the whole Kuminga debate, because I agree with you, Krueger. This is a great victory for them tonight. I like the fact that 6 Golden State Warriors were in double figures, so like everybody had their hands in scoring tonight. And Krueger, you mentioned the Hawks, their inability to defend. Bro, here's something else they can't defend. These fools can't defend the lob. Dude, I don't know that I've ever seen a Warrior game with that many lobs. It was going on all night. No, once the third quarter started, like the floodgates opened, everybody got a piece of that show. And the carousel kept coming. It was Steph to Trace Jackson Davis. You know what I mean? Everybody got a piece. And as far as Kuminga goes with his minutes, like you guys are going to have to really wear me down to be negative on a night like this, because to me, all I smell is roses. That was a great win. This team is 11-3. There's not a lot to be unhappy about. I mean, if you want to get into the whole Kuminga needs more minutes discussion, I don't disagree. But on a night like this, when a lot of different Warriors had their hands in the win, and it was also a night where you didn't have to ask Steph Curry to do a lot of heavy lifting because everybody was pitching in. So I'm very satisfied. Cyrus, I'll let you take the Kuminga flag and run, kid.
Well, just to reiterate for the Golden Days audience and for Larry, your show, this is new information. What I deduced in terms of why Kuminga didn't play in the second half is largely because of, and it was the second half net rating to me told the story. In the second half of this game, Buddy Hield was -12, and his minutes dropped in the second half as well. He was red hot in the first half of this game. He was going on 3-point flurries that was just demoralizing and crushing the soul of the Hawks. Sorry for the hyperbole there, but in the second half, Buddy Hield was -12, Kuminga was -10, Moses Moody was -16, Kevon Looney was -12, Brandon Podziemski, who we got to talk about tonight because he's just mired in a slump, he was -6. And so I think that reflected like the minutes. I think the coaching staff saw that 31-point lead drop to 15, and they looked over at Quinn Snyder with his grainy red glasses, and they were thinking, we can't let this dude win tonight. I'm guessing that's what went down. But like you said, Paulie, I was not going to let that ruin the vibes. And I think Kuminga's probably happy too, man. They won. That's what matters.
Yeah, and by the way, how about Podziemski taking another whack to the face tonight? The poor bastard. I mean, he just takes the mask off. Wham, he gets hit right back in the face again.
Yeah, dude.
Seriously. The Kuminga, you look at this Hawks team, they've got some nice talent. I mean, they really do. The French kid who's, had 12 and 8. You had Jalen Johnson, who played pretty well. You got Capella, Trae Young, though Trae Young was 1 of 6 on threes today. Daniels. I mean, they got Okongwu. I mean, this team's got some talent. Bogdanovich, but they're not very good. And it's just this, if Golden State, and I think Brian Iglesias says it here, 36 assists on 47 made baskets. When Golden State limits turnovers and moves the ball, they're virtually unbeatable. I mean, at halftime with 21 assists and 5 turnovers, I mean, that's a great number. And then you look at the end of the game, Golden State finished the night with 36 assists and 15 turnovers. So,
Beautiful.
When you can go over 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, that's pretty good. I don't put tons of credence in what happened in the second half because it's human nature. I mean, you're up 67-42, and the third quarter is just let's just play the third quarter and just, get through it. And they were -10 in the quarter, but they woke up in the fourth quarter and put a little flurry on and beat them 30-22 in the quarter. So Golden State won the first quarter 41-22. They won the second quarter 26-20. They won the fourth quarter 30-22, and they lost that third quarter by 10. 33-23. But overall, I mean, I'm so impressed by Golden State. Now, the question that a lot of people are having today is DeAnthony Melton's done for the year. What's the impact of that? What combination of players kind of takes up for him? And I'll say this, this is why when other people were doing cartwheels about this signing in the offseason, I was like, I don't love it. People are like, whoa, how could you not love it? Because this guy's hurt all the time.
People tell you that, Larry? Like people were actually saying like arguing with you about the
no, people love that move. People love the move. The hardcore Warrior fan loved the move, I thought, for the most part. And when I pushed back and said, this guy's glass, it was like, oh, that was last year. Well, so wait, I mean, that makes no sense to me. I mean, almost all these the NBA injuries, there's two kinds. They're chronic or fluky. And fluky injuries are no big deal, right? Because they're not going to recur. But then the recurring things, the plantar fasciitis, the kinds of things that, you've got some kind of knee pain or ankle pain or foot pain, those kinds of things that don't go away. I mean, that's why I wasn't that excited about Melton, because he missed a ton of games and he's got an injury history. Yeah. And, the odds are he was going to be hurt again, and now he is. But who steps in for him is the question. How do they make up for the loss of DeAnthony Melton?
Well, if you don't mind me going, taking it here. So it sucks. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I mean, Larry, I was with you in the offseason when they signed him initially, and I was actually literally live with Damon Bruce when that news broke, and we both were like, what the F is like for the first time in like 3-4 years, you have the mid-level exception and you spend all of it on a 6'3" guard who missed over half the season with a bad back. There were flags. There were clear flags. And at the same time, look, I don't know who specifically is in love with Melton. Like, someone of the Warriors has been in love with him. I don't know if it was Kerr. I don't know if it was Dunleavy. I don't know if it was Lacob. Somebody has a love affair with DeAnthony Melton. And so they spent the money. They got him. But this was, at least from my perspective, a reality check of the downside to small ball. This is the downside to a 6'3" guard who is injury prone, and you're asking him to play defense against much bigger players on a night-by-night basis. You're asking him to play a shooting guard position that in this game is typically played by much larger individuals. And that's a lot of strain for a dude who's 6'3" and weighs 190. Like, he's guarding James Harden on a night-by-night basis. He's guarding all these bigger dudes. And, they need to stop doing that, is what I'm trying to say. Like, stop pretending that point guards can handle playing alongside Steph and dealing with the rigor of having to defend and play against much bigger people. Now, the good news is this team is so damn deep that this injury brings them down from 13 rotation players to 12. So I think ultimately they're going to be okay. I don't think this affects the big picture. And they're not going to be able to replace them with anybody. And we can get into that in just a moment, but it just sucks, man. But the good news is they got depth and they should be okay.
Yeah, I mean, on a night when they win as big as they did tonight, it wasn't really even something I was thinking about outside of, just here when the news broke. I mean, it's just a really unfortunate, bounce for this guy. But like you said, Krug, I mean, this is a guy who's had injury problems. He's got a history of these nagging injuries that prevent him from staying on the floor. So, I mean, I don't think any of us are shocked. I mean, if maybe like the most surprising thing is he's done for the year. That's the real disappointment, that it's not a month or a few weeks. He's gone for the year. But Cyrus, like you said, dude, the strength of this team and the strength of all the great Warrior teams we've seen during the Steve Kerr era is that deep bench. And they finally have that again with this group. Like, maybe a better question is, like, who would you like? I mean, you mentioned Kuminga, Cyrus, at the beginning. Any other players now with Melton gone that maybe you would think, you know what, let's give this guy some minutes? Like, who would that be?
Moody. That's the first person that comes to mind for me. I don't know about you guys, but I hope this means, and we saw that in the third quarter. I don't know if you noticed, Moses Moody was inserted into the game in the third quarter way earlier than he normally is brought in. Yeah. And Bob Fitzgerald was hinting on the broadcast that could be an audition for him to see how he looks with the starters, to see how he looks, because normally he's like the 11th or 12th dude coming off the bench. And at least in the second half, he was the sixth man. And with mixed results. I mean, the net rating thing, I know Dr. J in the chat's like, why are you obsessed with net rating? I'm not obsessed with net rating, but in certain situations, it does tell you a very clear picture of what's going on. Like tonight in the second half, that net rating figure showed you who was tanking this team for the second half and who wasn't. And it presented a very logical explanation for why we saw the minute distribution. I'm guessing Moody, man. Larry, who do you think, brother? Or Paulie, you as well, sir.
I mean, I really like Waters. I think
Same.
Waters is really intriguing. I mean, there's a lot of upside there. I just love the way he shoots the ball, and I love the fact that he stretches the floor. It seems like he can do a few more things. I like that lineup that they have out there when they had Green, Waters, Wiggins, Curry, and Heald. Was that
Yeah.
that? It was basically all shooters and Draymond. I kind of like that. I kind of like that lineup, and I wouldn't mind that lineup with Trace Jackson Davis. All shooters and TJD. Melton. It's like I guess I didn't see enough of Melton with the Warriors to get a good feel for what his role was going to be. So it's like I if I saw him for 15 or 20 more games, I'd have a better idea of what replaces him. I mean, he's a pretty good defender. He's got decent size. He's kind of rugged. He's kind of a two-way guy. I could see Gary Payton taking some of those minutes, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, Payton's not the offensive player that Melton is, but he's probably a better defensive player than Melton. Then there's Waters, who can really shoot the basketball, but he's probably not the defender. I don't know. I mean, Moody's a bigger bodied guy. He definitely gives you some size and some ability to stretch the floor.
Yeah.
Though he was 0 for 3 on his threes tonight. Some combination thereof. But the nice thing is that they're so deep that an injury doesn't derail them. I mean, they got through a 3 or 4 game stretch without Steph, so I'm not really that concerned about missing Melton.
Good call. And D'Anthony Melton was going to be the starting shooting guard, and it's you started to kind of see how that was going to look, and it looked fantastic. I was all in on Melton as the starting 2, but the great news is we're now seeing Lindy Waters take that role. Dude, I love this kid. And Lindy Waters gives you size at 6'6". He gives you length. He's a smart player. He's he spaces the floor. Dude, this might actually work out even better because Lindy Waters was probably not going to play at all or very little given the rotations, how the rotations were set with Melton starting. But, dude, on top of that, besides the Melton injury, which does suck, and we're going to see how that plays out, going back to Trace Jackson Davis, I thought one huge takeaway for me tonight was the amount of minutes that Kerr and company gave to Trace Jackson Davis. He played 21 minutes, 56 seconds. Most box scores will round up and say 22. That's well above his season average of 16. And when you combine his minutes and Kevon Looney's, I mean, you're talking about a night where 35 of the 48 minutes, 36 of the 48 minutes, Kerr gave to centers. Yeah. And we never see that, dude. And that made a difference. So I like what I'm seeing here, man. This was a good night for the Warriors, even with Kuminga getting the screw job with minutes. I loved it, dude. That's just me.
You know what? I want to jump on that, Cyrus, a little bit. I want to keep going on Trace Jackson Davis because I agree.
Yeah.
He got the 22 minutes, and just look at his line, man. He was 6 of 11 field goals. He had 11 boards and 14 points. And I love his basketball pedigree coming out of IU. I love his basketball IQ. He's a guy that he doesn't really make a lot of mistakes on the floor for a young player. He's pretty savvy. And I just feel like when he's on the floor, there's always something positive. Like someone else is generally going to benefit from his presence on the floor. He's a good passer. He's careful with the ball in general. He can score. And tonight, again, with the 11 rebounds, man, it's like, I want more. Like I do. I still want more. I want to see more of him. I think he's got a really, really bright future. And I thought tonight was like a nice example of that.
11 different Warriors played double-digit minutes tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot. 11 Warriors got double digits. Now, granted, they won by, 23 points, and the game was, blowout at halftime. But, I mean, in some ways, I feel like this roster really looks best when it's a game like this, where you look up and you're like, whoa, they got a lot of guys. Kyle Anderson didn't have a great game, but he played 15 minutes. He's a solid veteran, buddy. Look at the talent that comes off the bench for Golden State.
Incredible.
Kuminga, Looney, Anderson, Heald, Payton, Moody, Podziemski.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue that Podziemski, Moody, Healed, and Kuminga are all legitimate starters. And we know that Peyton has drawn a start already this year. Looney is, has started a lot of games in the NBA. But I mean, they got 4 guys right there, and Kuminga, Buddy Hield, Moses Moody, and Podziemski, who literally could start and probably would start on a number of teams. So you've got, 4 guys on your bench that could start. I mean, that's good. That's good. Especially, I mean, to me, what I love the most about this year is that Dunleavy and Kerr got together and they said, okay, last year wasn't what we wanted. What do we want this year? And Kerr's like, well, we want guys who fit together. We want to get our chemistry going. And so they went to Hawaii. They definitely came out of camp totally unified.
Yeah.
So I think Kerr definitely did an incredible job in training camp at getting this team to kind of, unite and come together really, really quickly, despite the presence of some new faces. So that was really impressive. And then Dunleavy, put together with Curry and Green getting older, the smartest thing for him to do was to, try to make this the deepest roster possible because of the relative age of their 2 best players. And he was successful in doing that. So that now they got this deep team. And the question with deep teams is always, well, how does the coach balance the minutes and how's their chemistry? But Kerr took them to Hawaii, brought them together. They've got now a deep team with great vibes. And yeah, there's some guys, there's at least one guy. I mean, this is just the Warriors' reality. And I'd love to talk to Kerr about it. The Warrior reality is that every game that they play, there's going to be somebody driving home from the arena who played single digits, who's damn good.
Yeah.
Tonight that guy is Gary Payton. He played 6 minutes. He was 3 of 4, had 6 points. He was +7, grabbed a couple rebounds. He had a productive 6 minutes, but he was the odd man out tonight. He was the guy who's got all kinds of ability, has started for them this year, but he got no run tonight. And it's like, as long as you can have 1 or 2 guys that don't get minutes, and you can keep the thing, keep everybody pulling on the rope in the same direction and keep the chemistry in a good way. I mean, I think you're a better team for it. I mean, that's the downside of depth is somebody's going to be unhappy.
Yeah.
If Kerr can keep them all together, I think it's a genius game plan, and I think it's one that's going to work.
Yeah.
And I think the minutes thing affected Kuminga more than GP2 tonight, because Gary Payton II played, I think, 3 or 4 minutes less than he normally does. He averages about 11 and a half, 12 minutes a game. But Kuminga averages, I think, 24 minutes a game. So for him to get 15 or 16, whatever it was, like that was substantial. I learned this just today, that Kuminga's 3rd in the NBA in bench scoring, in the entire NBA. He's 3rd in scoring for players who come off the bench. That's awesome, man. And that shows improvement. Here's the part to me, at least, Larry and Paulie, that every time you bring up like those names coming off the bench, like Podziemski, Moody, Kuminga, especially those 3, and then Trace Jackson-Davis, who starts, those 4, dude, they will be starting for the Warriors in 5 years from now. They're the future. And I love it, man. That's why I don't want any of those guys traded, because this team is set potentially for like 15 years. That's insane to me. And I love it. And it makes me giddy every time I just talk about it and think about it. So that's the bench now is the future of the Warriors. And I couldn't be more ecstatic about that.
Hey, you guys, while we're talking about minutes and which players are getting what kind of time on the floor, are you guys surprised at all on a night where, the Warriors had a 20-plus point lead most of the game? Sometimes they were flirting with a 30-point lead, yet Steph Curry still led the team in minutes with 30. And I was surprised to see him on the floor with like under 2 minutes to go. He was still out there playing and competing. And I was wondering, do you guys like chalk that up to what you were saying earlier, Kruegs, that maybe Kerr wanted to get a feel for how he looked alongside? Because Moody was out there too, late in the 4th. And you got a 20-plus point lead. Steph's 9 times out of 10 sitting down at that point, getting rested. So one, I was surprised he was out there with that big a lead at the end of the game. And do you guys think that was just so Kerr could get a feel for Moody more so than anything Steph could do?
What do you think, Cy?
And you're talking about like Moody coming in the game early in the third quarter. Is that what
Well,
you're talking
and also
about?
why Steph was on the floor with a 20-point lead and less than 2 minutes to go in the fourth. He was still
I
out there
think
playing. Yeah.
that part of it, I think, is a huge reason why the Kuminga's fans were pissed off, because it was unnecessary. And the Kuminga part of this, look, he's so young and he's getting so many less minutes than almost every one of his draft classmates in the lottery that year, who most of them were drafted by bad teams, like Franz Wagner, for example. He averaged over 30 minutes a game his rookie season. Kuminga has never sniffed that, and he's in year 4 now. So I can understand people who like Kuminga being frustrated about that. I don't have a good answer. I think part of it was just like they were in the flow of things, and it was just in the moment. It's hard sometimes to think about like minutes, and but I don't have a good answer for you, Larry. If you have a better guess than me.
No, I mean, I don't know what the plan is with Kuminga. Are they trying to, not play him a lot of minutes so they don't have to play him? Are they trying to feature him at times to trade him? Are they? I mean, it's like if you want to trade a guy, wouldn't you play him a little bit more? Unless you thought there was risk of injury, but that would mean that there was a deal like probably super imminent, and it doesn't seem like that's the case, but who knows? I'm not privy to their discussions. Right. I don't like the idea of trading Kuminga, period. But you know what? Bottom line is, if you don't want to pay him, then you might as well trade him, because you either got, you got to shit or get off the pot. I mean, you got to make a decision. I mean, sorry, but that's the way the NBA is. If you want it, this guy is either going to get big Franz Wagner $225 million, or you're going to move him and let somebody else pay him $225 million. But this idea that like he's too good to trade because his future's too bright, but too inconsistent to play, I mean, that I would call that the lose-lose. That's not a win-win situation. That's lose-lose. So I'm willing to move him if there was a basketball player or two coming back that had maybe better basketball skill and would fit in right away. But you better get a fucking good player coming back, because this guy is going to be really good in a couple of years, and you're going to look so stupid for having traded him. There's a reason that there's like 9 teams that keep knocking on the Warriors' door about Kuminga, because everybody wants a Kuminga. Who wouldn't want Kuminga? So don't trade him for 35-year-old Jimmy Butler, and don't trade him for some broken down 30-year-old player. Trade him for, if you're going to trade him for a younger player, that's more in his category, like a Wagner. Trade him for maybe in combination with another Warrior player or two, and see if you can get a significant piece. The one thing about Kuminga, he has a lot of value and he doesn't get consistent minutes. Okay. Correct. How about that? It's like having like a really expensive timeshare, but you can't afford to go there. You know what I mean? It's like, hey man, I've got a killer timeshare at the Westin at the Hapuna Beach, but I really can only afford to go there once every 5 years. I'm supposed to stay there for 2 weeks a year, but I can't afford to go there. It's like, you have Kuminga, this awesome bench piece that everybody would love to have, but you don't want to pay him and you don't want to play him. So come on, man, make a decision and find a player that you really like. I wouldn't go for a lesser player or an older player, but if I could find a young player that maybe Kerr or Dunleavy or both thinks is a better fit, or maybe has more basketball skill, maybe not quite the athletic profile, but more basketball skill and can help you win right now. Maybe a young player that's a little bit more developed. I mean, Cy, who am I thinking of? I mean, there's got to be somebody out there that.
Well, I don't think of young people, just because I feel like if you trade Kuminga for another young piece, that young piece is also just going to rot on the bench. Kerr just does not
developed. If they can find a developed, like Franz Wagner's got a developed game. You know what I mean? Part of the reason that Kuminga doesn't play is that he's kind of an undeveloped player. He's more of a potential.
Yeah,
player.
He's getting there. But
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say,
I was just going to say, somebody's like Jalen Johnson or Amen Thompson, who's a Bay Area kid. But I don't know. I mean, somebody said LaMelo Ball will work. Brandon
Go to the
Miller.
next guy. Go to Mindspringers. Two down from what you just highlighted. Jalen Duren. That's a guy I would definitely consider. I think that kid is going to be.
That's the guy. Yes. I don't know if you know this guy. This is a 6'11", 240-pound big man. Think kind of like an Antonio McDice kind of a body. Yeah, that's what Duren has. He's big, he's long, he's athletic, he's on the Pistons. He's raw, but he is exactly what they need, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Although Trayce Jackson, look, I don't think they should touch a thing. That's my personal opinion, and I believe strongly in that. Just because as long as these young pieces are happy, like I didn't see any shots of Kuminga on the bench tonight looking pissed off. Like there are some nights where they'll show him and you could just read his face and he's just like sitting there going, what the hell am I doing here? Why does my coach hate me? I didn't get that vibe tonight. So as long as he's happy, who cares? Just go with what you right. If it ain't broke,
and that's a good point, Cyrus. I think you're right. The overall feel and vibe coming off this team is a pretty cohesive one. Like this group seems so far, early in this season, they seem to enjoy one another pretty well. When you compare to last year or even the last 2 years, it was getting kind of cancerous. A lot of people talk about Klay Thompson and what he did to the overall atmosphere day in, day out. Listen, I mean, Krug and Cyrus, listen, the three of us, we've all worked with disgruntled employees in the past. And no, for real. And guess what? That shit it permeates, man. Like that stuff sends off bad vibes that can affect a lot of people in a lot of different ways. So that is one really good thing I think they've already achieved so far this year. Like the team chemistry, at least to my, the untrained eye, looks a lot healthier than we've seen in the last couple of seasons. And like you said, Kuminga, he wasn't pouting tonight. I didn't catch any negativity coming off of him. So, listen, this just might be until Kerr finds what he's looking for in terms of the right combination. It's probably going to continue on like this. There's probably some guys are going to get more minutes on other nights. But again, I'm always pushing I'd like to see more Kuminga and I'd like to see more Trayce Jackson-Davis. Just overall, those are the two guys I think would benefit for more time on the floor.
Agree. And just to add to that, Paulie, and Damian LaRoche, who's been on fire tonight in the chat, he wrote something which is very true. If the Warriors were in a situation where they still don't know how to beat the Clippers, they'd be 17-1 right now, including the preseason. Like, dude, they are kicking ass, man. They are all alone in first place in the Western Conference in a year where the West is deep. Dude, don't touch a thing is what I'm trying to say. Like, this is a good thing going right now. They passed every test. The Clippers are just a weird anomaly that they just, for some reason, Powell just eats them up every time they play. Is that the guy I'm thinking of? Did I say his name right? The shooting guard, but he eats them up. I
mean, I understand the philosophy side, which is, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, but this Warrior team was kind of, they tried to put this thing together differently, and you get the feeling like, I don't know, it's not necessarily the team that they wanted or built for, or to me it seems, I understand what you're saying. I understand, like, hey man, they're 10-3. What do you do?
11-3.
But or 11-3. But I don't know that I would say, I don't know that I agree with that. You know what I mean? That for this team. I think this team is still in kind of the construction process. And I think there's a lot of pieces here. Yeah. And I like him. I like the depth, but if I could move, if I could make one move, I guess I'll say this. I'm not worried about making a move and ruining what they have, because I don't think what they have is about like some magical chemistry that will somehow be changed and all of a sudden they're all going to fucking suck. You know what I mean? I don't think it's about the chemistry. I think it's about depth and talent. And if they could make a move and get a little bit better, I mean, I'll just say this. So most teams have one or two more big guys than the Warriors do. And the Warriors are going to go this whole year playing undersized Draymond Green inside and Looney and undersized Trace Jackson Davis. They don't really have a big body guy. So I don't know. To me, it's just like they really could use one more 6'9" to 7 foot guy. Jalen Duren would be. Is it Jalen or Jaren?
Jalen with an L, I think. Yeah.
Jalen Duren would be a phenomenal get. And I don't know that I'm not worried about changing a player out or two and ruining the chemistry.
What are you looking for, Larry? Like if you did want to add a piece, where on the floor? Like at what spot?
Well, to me, I think a 4 or 5 that can run. You know, a big who doesn't slow them down, a big who could finish at the rim and play above the rim. Like I love the guy from Cleveland, Allen, Jared Allen. Yeah, I love Jared Allen, but he makes a lot of money. Somebody like that. Duren would be perfect. If I could get Duren, I would be interested.
So, but here's the thing, Larry. If you make a deal like that, and this is why there's 2 reasons why I don't think they're going to, and I could be wrong with that, but I don't think they're going to, and also I don't want them to, is because let's say you make that deal and you get Jalen Duren, then what are you going to do with Trace Jackson Davis? He's just going to go to the bench? You've got a good thing going with him, right? So if you get Jalen Duren, I guess what I'm saying is I'm happy with Trace
I want to play those guys both. I guess the Looney would never play again, pretty much, as far as I'm concerned.
And this is the other point. This is why the other reason why I don't think they're going to do anything. Kerr, my nickname for him is Picky Steve. He is very selective when it comes to who he likes on his team and who he's going to play on his team. We know how he treats bigs, right? So hypothetically, like if Jalen Duren comes in and there are nights where he plays 5 minutes, he's going to be disgruntled. Like that is not going to fly with a guy like Jalen Duren. He has to get his minutes, and Kerr's never been the type to give someone like that minutes. So I don't know. I hear what you're saying. Like I wouldn't mind this roster improving. I guess I'm just adding like the Kerr factor to this, right? Like in terms of who he likes as his players, who he actually plays. And Looney is one of his favorites, so he's going to play no matter what. And I just don't know how this works if you start dealing. If you traded Trace Jackson Davis as well, now I could see that being a reality. Like if you included TJD, so then Duren is just the center. I could kind of see that working. But anyways, yeah.
Hey, a little comic relief.
I've been giving it a lot of thought.
I just looked over at the comments and happened to see, I think it's already gone. It already scrolled by. I think it was my boy Pinoy. He goes, I'm saying Ben Simmons. Who says no? Yes. I see you, bro. That was good. You made me laugh. Yeah.
It's funny. I saw Ben Simmons the other day, playing the point, and it's like when you see him running the floor and passing, you're like, wow, look at this guy.
Well,
then he can't. Then he just hides out when it's time to shoot, and you just can't play that way. We got this guy who's like Larry Cosman Cozy Codes says, Larry, don't bring the Niners negativity over to the Warriors. LOL. Joking.
Yeah. Hey man.
What about this one? Hey, what about this one? Somebody mentioned this one, and this is the second time this name's come up. Richard Marquez says, bring up Knox or Rowe from the G League. Let's talk about Kevin Knox for a second. I thought Kevin Knox was a decent player with the Knicks, and I kind of liked him in the preseason with the Warriors. Will he get Melton's spot? Is he gonna get that roster spot that vacated by Melton?
The problem is I don't know if he can afford him. Like if you bring up anybody, like the Warriors right now are about $600K below the cap. That's how close they are. Like they couldn't even sign Quentin Post, their one draft pick, and they had to give him a 2-way deal because they literally could not give him a contract. They're the margin of the salary cap and what they're paying is that little. So if you brought up a Kevin Knox, I think the only way you could do that is to give him a 2-way deal. And then you'd have to sacrifice either Pat Spencer or Reese Beekman. I'm not opposed to the theory of it, the idea of it, but then you'd also have to talk about like whose minutes are you cutting, right? Yeah. If you bring him up, I don't know if that's realistic. Like Kevin Knox to me is like an injury away, like an injury to Draymond, an injury to TJD. Like one of those guys would have to get hurt for an extended period. With Melton, I don't know how that fits, but
one of the guys that I saw that's rumored to be traded this week is Cam Thomas, and I love Cam Thomas. He plays for the Nets. Coop here says, I want someone like a Cam Thomas, but the one player I really want is Bones Highland from the Clippers. He's not even playing for the Clippers, and he's too good to not play. I like Bones Highland was at VCU. I think he played at in college. But that's an interesting one. Cam Thomas is a flat out scorer.
Yes.
Oh my God, that guy can score.
Yes,
he can really score. I mean, I'd be interested in anybody like that because, I mean, there's so many times that you get into a long season or a playoff series and it's like, where can we get points? And then it's like, there's only so many guys that can give you points. Cam Thomas is kind of a gunner, but man, he is an incredible scorer.
He's an empty points guy, though, Larry.
You don't have to give much to get him. You could get him for probably nothing.
I don't want him. I don't like him. No, well, he's an empty points guy. Like he's getting all these points right now because the team is trying to tank. Although their coach is making that an issue for the organization, but they're trying to tank. They want Cooper Flag. They're rebuilding, and then so Cam Thomas has been given the green light to basically do whatever he wants, and he's delivering. He's putting up all these points. I don't know if he fits with the Warriors, dude. This is a guy who's all about me and him. Bones Highland, hell no. I never want to think about him on the Warriors, and he's not coming to the Warriors. That guy, there's a reason why the Nuggets moved on very fast from Bones Highland because he's an ISO type guy. He's a me first kind of guy. Talented, yes, but he's a head case and selfish and hard pass on that. But that's just boys, me. I don't know.
While we're having this in-depth Warrior discussion tonight, real quick, we mentioned Podziemski getting whacked in the nose again tonight. The poor guy. I hope his nose isn't broken. I didn't hear that it was.
Yeah.
But I know that once you break your nose, it becomes all that easier to break again and again and again. So hopefully he's okay. But I wanted to ask both of you guys, like, what is your kind of view of Podziemski right now? Like, he's not what we were used to seeing last year. Like, what do you guys chalk that up to?
Larry, you go first, man. Because that is a great topic, and I don't have a good answer.
It's legit. Like, it's something that we should talk about it. I mean, he's not the same guy.
Well, I mean, the Warriors just, I mean, it's one thing to like your guy. It's another thing to be just blind to what he is. I mean, they like him. He's a pretty good player. He knows how to play. He knows he rebounds, and rebounding is usually, if you rebound in basketball, almost every level you play. So he rebounds, and that's what he brings to the table. He rebounds. He's a smart player. Okay, that's what he's good at. But he's not a defender. He's not a shooter. He's not big. So what are we talking about? The fact that you're going to sit there and not trade for Lauri Markkanen because you don't want to move this guy?
Yeah,
what are you, 10 times stupid? I mean, what the hell? I mean, you're not going to trade for a 7-footer who can shoot 40% from three because you got a 6'3" guy with a red mop top who shoots 19% from three. What are you, fucking high? Are you fucking high? I mean, what the hell? Why would you do? Well, I mean, I love, his potential, but let's not pretend that he's a totally different player than he is. He's never shot the ball really, really well. So guess what? He's not a great shooter. He's not.
Well, his second year. He was like his second year, his 1 year at Santa Clara, his second year in college. He did shoot 43.8% from deep. And I think that's a huge reason why he ended up being a first-round pick.
But Jacob Evans shot 44% at Cincinnati from three.
That's fair.
Where's Jacob Evans?
You're absolutely right. All I'm saying is I think that's what the Warriors saw that convinced them to think this guy could be, a shooter in this game. But again, he was 1 of 6 tonight.
Yeah.
The only shot he made was a 3-pointer, and those were his total points, 3. Did he even get to the free throw? He did not even get to the free throw line tonight. At least the Warriors played a little better in terms of free throws.
He doesn't make his free throws.
He doesn't make his free throws, though. He's 60% entering tonight, and he had
60%. 0.
0 free throw attempts tonight. The team still is missing free throws. They missed 6 tonight. They were 12 of 18 from the charity stripe. Kevon Looney was 0 for 3. Moody missed 1. Kuminga actually did okay. He missed his first and then made 3 in a row. He was 3 of 4. 75% for him, you can live with. But yeah, that's an issue, man. I got Rick Barry coming on Golden Days tomorrow, and that's going to be a topic to discuss because he's one of the all-timers in that category.
Well,
But
as
the
a free
Podziemski
throw
thing
shooter,
is
but I
weird,
mean,
man.
Podziemski was 1 for 6. He's not a defensive player. He's not a point. He's not a pure 2. He's a combo 1 who's 6'3" and rebounds, and he knows how to play. So I mean, I'm sure he plays hard, but I don't know, man.
Hustle
To
is
me,
not
it's like
enough.
if he was going to be able to shoot at the NBA level, I think we would have seen it by now.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
I'm
a
a little
tough one,
worried.
man.
I'm a
You're
little
right.
worried about him.
I'm with you.
I went from I really like him to I don't want to trade him to yeah, I'll trade him.
Yeah, well, because also I think last year, like when Kerr would put him into games, like I felt in a lot of cases like he provided a spark to the offensive unit. Like he would be a nice shot in the arm, some energy on the floor, and I'm not really even feeling that right now from him. So it's very noticeable. Like and that's why I wanted to bring it up and get you guys' take on that, because the spark isn't there. The points certainly aren't there, and at certain times it just looks like it's not the right guy. He's not the right guy on the floor. You know,
if I was ranking the young players on the Warriors as far as who I want to keep, who I want to move, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've changed this many times, and I'm sure many of you have probably as well, if you think about it. But to me, right now, of the young building block players, that would be Moses Moody, Brandon Podziemski, Jonathan Kuminga, and Trace Jackson Davis. To me, Trace Jackson Davis is the guy that I would least want to move out of the Warriors' young core of 4 guys. TJD, I would say I'd want to keep over the other guys.
I agree, and I would put Kuminga right behind him at number 2. But I agree, Larry. I think that TJD is the most polished player. He's got the best basketball IQ, and I think that he is going to have some real nice years in front of him. How about you, Cy? How would you rank those guys?
I would put Kuminga over Trace Jackson Davis only because a player of Kuminga's talents is a lot harder to replicate than a player of Trace Jackson Davis talents. Bigs are out there. You can find them who are serviceable and do the job. A player like Kuminga, and Golden State Valkyries, for example, in the chat, calls me a Kuminga fan. Look, I like the kid. I have no idea what he's going to become. My entire argument for this kid from day one to now is we need to see him actually play so we know what the hell he is. We need to, the Warriors need to know what his value is. And you're never going to get that playing him 15 minutes a night. He needs to get real run, man. And he's been starting to. This is the second game in a row where he didn't finish the game. The Warriors were putting him in the closing lineups for a good stretch there, and they were winning all those games. Then they didn't do it in the Clippers game. They lost. We didn't see it tonight, but they didn't matter. It was a blowout. I would put Kuminga above there, but I'm with you, man. Podziemski, Larry, you and I, and Paulie, you were still on the radio back then, so that's why we're not having the discussion. But hey, radio's here now, right? And I think we should talk about that at some point.
We're doing radio, man. Yeah,
we are, dude.
Exactly.
The talent is here now. And I'm sorry to sound arrogant saying that, but it's true, dude. But Larry, you and I were talking about this. Like Podziemski is not a piece that you hold on to no matter what. If he was holding up that Lowry Markkanen deal, and I know there were other pieces you had to include. I know you had to throw draft picks as well. And I'm fully aware that Lowry Markkanen is not having a great start to the season. He also plays on the Jazz. There's a huge reason for that. But come on. It's ridiculous. He should have been traded if that's what the holdup was.
But it wasn't, because it sounded like Ainge wanted everybody.
Yeah, Ainge is crazy. He's crazy.
Yeah. It sounded like Ainge wanted everybody. So I'm not saying they could have made that trade. I'm just saying if they didn't trade for Markkanen because of Podziemski, they're fucking crazy.
Agreed. I totally agree with you.
They're totally crazy.
And here's
I'll tell you, the other guy that I loved in the draft that's playing really well is in Philly right now, Jared McCain from the 76ers, the kid from Sacramento.
Did you see that? You advocated for Jared McCain?
Oh, I advocated for Filipowski and Jared McCain. Those are the two guys I really like from Duke. And Jared McCain. I should be a basketball scout. I really should. Seriously. Yeah. If who's that guy who's doing the Warrior post game, who's now a Hawks scout?
Oh yeah, he was on pregame tonight too. Help
What's
me out.
He was a soap opera model.
It's Grant something, right? Is
Frisbee?
it Grant?
No,
I forgot his name. I know what you're talking about. He has no.
Liftman,
He had no
Liftman.
Thank you.
Liftman.
Thank you.
Yes.
Grant Liftman. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Liftman could do it, I'm pretty sure I could do it.
Oh, dude, Krueger. I got Krueger. You could scout any sport, man.
Yeah, I could be aside, Liftman. Move aside.
I think Krueger, dude, I want to see Krueger scout some NHL talent too. Scout some hockey guys. Krueger be like, you know what? I like this left defenseman in the corners. He digs out the lead.
Exactly. Yeah. No, but I mean, seriously, basketball scouting is the easiest scouting because you're not projecting that much. It's like, do you see it or do you not? He's right there in front of you. It's not like baseball. In baseball, it's like, the kid's 16. What's he going to be in 8 years? It's like, I don't know. He could have a boiler for all I know at that point. You know what I mean? It's hard to project 8 years. I couldn't tell you where I'm going to be in 8 minutes. How could I project what some kid's going to do in 8 years? So baseball scouting is hard. Football scouting is like, what's the guy going to be in a couple years? But then you also have to project from college to the pros. Basketball, I mean, my God, if you can't scout basketball players, you can't scout.
And you're right, because Krug, if you see a young player with the athleticism or in the talents of Kuminga, you can see that right away. Like you
right
can say,
away.
Like, okay, that guy's not polished, but he gets to the rim like a lunatic. So yeah, that's a good call, Krugs. I'll buy that.
Although I will say this, Larry, I guarantee a lot of scouts out there are going to hear that and they'll hate you for it because they're not nailing it on a consistent basis. You should be a basketball scout, but you're brilliant at it. You're absolutely right. Like I've yet to hear you miss. Another person you raved about, Grady Dick, is now like the best player in the Toronto Raptors, and he's going to probably be.
How about Damian Lillard? I was saying Damian Lillard to Radnich when he was just at Weber State, just doing nothing. I'll tell you the other one that I totally knew I was spot on was I knew that KG was going to be better than Joe Smith. I mean, I was really dying for the Warriors to draft Garnett that year. They took Joe Smith number 1. Garnett was liquid. He was fluid. He could do it all. Joe Smith was much more stiff, and he was good at Maryland, but he was so limited compared to Kevin Garnett. And I realized Kevin Garnett was coming out of high school. That was back in the era where the scouts didn't really believe in the high school kids. I mean, Kobe went 12 behind Todd Fuller. 13. Tracy McGrady went behind Foyle. I mean, it was like, you know what I mean? That it was an era where nobody really fully believed because there were a couple high-profile high school busts along the line there, and that people were scared about high school. But I mean, to me, basketball is the easiest one to scout.
Larry, do you remember little Golden State Warrior Bay Area trivia real quick? Do you remember the year that the Golden State Warriors, they moved down to San Jose? It was 1996.
I remember that.
Yeah, while they were renovating the Oakland Arena.
They were playing at the Toso Pavilion, weren't they, in Santa Clara or something?
So
no, they were playing the Sharks.
Yeah, they were at the Shark Tank. I saw
Shark Tank. Shark Tank. Okay.
So they do that one season in 96 at the Shark Tank. They come back to the Oakland Arena in 97. It's been renovated. It's the grand opening. No one's been in there for 2 years. And that night, opening night of 97, when they unveiled the new Oakland Arena, that was actually Kevin Garnett's first game in the NBA, was the home opener for the Warriors. And I'll never forget because I was in the house. And you're right, Krug, that was like all sports talk all day long was about Kevin Garnett. He's not ready for the bigs. He's out of high school. This is a big mistake. I can't believe they're letting this happen. And I remember there was like a buzz in the building for KG's first game. And I was there. Were either of you guys at that game that night?
No, I was not, but I remember seeing highlights of him. He was a South Carolina kid who went to Farragut High School in Chicago his senior year. And it was like, KG was like a legend, right? Yeah. And I remember seeing the highlights. And his body type and his fluidity. I mean, I literally, you can't, if you watch this guy for a minute and didn't draft him, you're crazy. Yeah, he was crazy fluid. Yeah, they were because there was a guy named D'Antonio Winfield who had gone right out of high school and busted. I think he went to Cincinnati for 1 year. He came out as a freshman and he busted. And so, the way it is. I mean, it's sports are copycat leagues, It's like, if the year Randy Moss came out was a year after Lawrence Phillips imploded. So Randy Moss fell from top 10 to 21 because everybody was like, oh, he's the next Lawrence Phillips. But then the next Randy Moss came out, and it's Randy Moss, and he's a Hall of Famer. So, you just have to – there's reasons for all these things.
Hey, one last thing on Garnett. Only if you two guys haven't seen this yet. He had a pretty good role in that Adam Sandler movie called Uncut Gems.
Yes, I saw that.
It's all about a degenerate NBA basketball bettor. Adam Sandler plays like a gambling addict. And
I hated the ending. The ending. The rest of the movie is awesome.
The only reason I'm bringing it up is Kevin Garnett had a big role in the movie, and he was good. Dude, he was like really good. Have you seen it, Krueger, Uncut Gems?
No, I haven't seen it.
Check it out. Check it out. It's Adam Sandler, and it's a serious movie. It's not a comedy.
It's a good movie. It's a very good movie.
I'll look for that. Right. Yeah. I got this one in the stream right here from Pinoy Reformat. Larry, who do you like in the upcoming draft? So now you're gonna
besides Cooper Flag. I
like Cooper Flag.
Yeah.
You know what? A lot of times I like guys who are not considered very good. Like I really liked Baylor Shireman, who last year went to the Celtics. He's a guy from Creighton who could flat out shoot it. So there's always guys. I mean, they'll be great value. You're gonna have to give me until a couple months because I don't really get into it until this is the college basketball season just started. But I'll give you. There's always a couple guys who are just ridiculously late guys, late round guys who are really good. I kind of like the big man from Creighton, Kalkbrenner. I kind of like Kalkbrenner.
I don't follow college really at all, so this is where I will just listen to you and not.
I also like there's Ryan Kalkbrenner is a 7'1", 270-pound center from Creighton. He's projected to go with the second pick of the second round. I love him, and then I really like Caravan from Connecticut. Who you guys saw him in the Final Four last year. He's also considered to be a kind of a second round pick type guy. We'll have to see. I mean, it's a no name. It's a gigantic no name draft.
Let me ask you this. I'm going to give you some trivia real fast here. If you don't mind us switching gears for a second, because this morning I did some research on the latest numbers pertaining to the Warriors' defensive leaders individually in terms of like matchup numbers and who's shooting the best and worst against Warriors players. The second best Warriors defender on this team is Draymond Green in terms of opposing field goal percentage. Who would you guess is first?
Wow. I'm shocked it's not Draymond.
Gary Payton?
Okay, that's your guess. Are you guessing? Who are you guessing, Paulie?
What's the question? Who's the second? What's the question again?
Who leads the Warriors in individual opposing field goal percentage? Meaning,
I'll say Gary Payton.
I'm going to say Trace Jackson Davis.
Okay, you're both wrong. And this is the Gary Payton.
Can I guess again? Can I guess the second guess?
So I get the second round? Yeah.
My second guess would be Lindy Waters.
Okay. Do you have a second guess? Do you have a second guess, Paulie?
Oh man, you guys are killing me. I mean, how can it not be Draymond? So we have.
It's crazy, right? But when I give you the answer, it will make sense.
Tell me.
So, and this is why I think this
slow-mo.
I think this is a huge reason why we're seeing this regression with the Minnesota Timberwolves. People are going to focus on Karl Anthony Towns Balin, but dude, the slow-mo played for them. He played real minutes. He's playing real minutes now. There was a play. It is slow-mo. It's Kyle Anderson. There was a play, and it's not even close. Wow. He gives up something like 37%, 38% from the field when he's guarding other people. And there was a play with like about 55 seconds left in the second quarter of this game where slow-mo picked Trae Young's pocket. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, that was badass.
Yeah.
It was totally badass. And he does so many of these little subtle things that makes a difference, dude. The addition of him has been huge for this Warriors team. And then the Gary Payton, the second part of it, you would think he would be up there. He's one of the worst players this year defensively. And that's a big reason why every time I see him come in so early, I'm always like, man, that's just a Kerr playing his favorites thing, because defensively, he's not playing lights out basketball this year. He's not making any of those 3-pointers that used to fall. So I wish Moses Moody would be ahead of him in the pecking order, but Kyle Anderson, man, he's balling.
Nice.
Slow-mo. He's effective. I mean, he's hell to watch, but he's effective. His shot's just ugly. He sticks out his butt. He shoots it in front.
Yeah.
It looks like something you'd see at the Y. I feel like I'm watching a pickup game from the Stonestown YMCA.
Wow.
And it's just, you know what I mean? It's like I'm sitting there.
Yeah.
But here's why I love it.
With his socks up to the knee. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, there's some guy with a headband with back hair or something.
Totally,
you know what I mean?
Totally, dude. And the good detail on sticking his ass out too. I see it. That's a good call.
In the back.
Do you guys ever see Along Came Polly? When
I love that movie.
Philip Seymour Hoffman and Ben Stiller are playing 2-on-2, and the one guy he's like his sweaty, hairy back, and you can see it slides down Stiller's face, and you can see hair and sweat, and it's awesome.
It's awful.
You know what? Kyle Anderson. What I get a kick out of watching him play is he forces other people to play at his pace. Like he's not a Russian. He's gonna do what he does every time which is move like what's the animal that he reminds me of the most? The one, the lazy ones that live in trees with the big claws that they just move like super slow. You know what I'm talking about? I can't remember right now. Anyways, he makes other people move at his pace. It's awesome, man. What a pickup is.
Well, Cyrus, I would say if he's going to be any animal, he's got to be.
Thank you, Damon LaRoche.
Well, and shout out to that old joke. I first heard it. Sean Penn say it in the movie Colors when he says, 2 bulls are sitting up on top of the hill, a baby bull and a father bull. And they look down, they see a bunch of cows down in the valley. And the young bull is like, hey, Dad, let's run down there and I'll keep it clean. I'll clean this up and say, let's hook up with one of those cows. And then the father cow says, no, son, what we're going to do is we're going to walk down there and we're going to hook up with all of them. We're going to hook up with all of them. So that's slow-mo. That's like him personified. He's walking down and he's having them all. That's all.
What a movie, too. That's a great movie. Colors.
I've heard that. It's like an old football buddy of mine used to tell me that story. It was a little bit more R-rated than the way you told it.
Yeah.
But man, you're that young guy who wants to run down there and get himself one. I'm the old guy who wants a motherfucking walk down there and get them all.
That's it, man.
Like,
hey, listen.
All right. Kenny Powers with the cut colors.
Nice tea. Yeah, nice tea.
Which was Robert De Niro and Sean Penn. Working South Central, right? It was basically working South Central LA, right? That was a good movie, man. That was a good movie.
Great film, dude. Yeah.
The intro was incredible. That movie was good. All right. What do you guys think about what lies ahead for Golden State? They both Friday at New Orleans, Saturday at San Antonio against Big Vic, Monday home against the Nets, Wednesday, the night before Thanksgiving, my favorite night of the year to go meet up. Oh, yeah. Dude, I used to love the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving to meet up with all my high school buddies or college buddies. It was the best party night of all time. Oh, my God. People who came home from college, in my single days, girls who used to date.
Yeah.
And you're hooking up. Everyone's making out. It's awesome.
Oh, it's an amazing night. It's an amazing night. You know,
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, you're home for Thanksgiving. You look so good. It's been so long. Totally. We really need to catch up. Maybe in the back of my car.
Yeah, my new number? Let me give you my new number. Yeah.
Let me give you my new number. Yes. I want your new number. Yes.
Yeah, call me. Call me tomorrow.
Now it's like, hey, can I get your Snap?
Totally.
And then Saturday at Phoenix. So what are they going to go in that 5-game stretch? At New Orleans, at Spurs, home against Nets, home against Thunder, at Phoenix. That's going to be fun.
Listen, if they keep playing like this, dude, I want at least 3. I could get greedy and say, give me 4. Give me 4 of the 5. Those are all teams that the Warriors can not only run with, but they can beat those teams. Mm-hmm. I mean, who's the biggest challenge there? New Orleans. Who are the teams again? Starting with
you get New Orleans, but
Yep.
it's on the road, and
Yep.
then you get San Antonio
Yep,
on
they
the
can beat-
road.
Yep.
Then you're home against the Nets and Ben Simmons.
Yep.
Then Wednesday, the night before Thanksgiving, it's OKC at home, but no Chet, of course. And then Saturday at Phoenix. I think the Warriors could run the table there.
Or at least win 4. You know, those win 4 of the 5. I think everybody'd be pretty happy.
And so here's a huge reason why I don't want the Warriors to make any big moves for the rest of the season, unless suddenly things turn south. Then obviously you want to change things. But the Warriors are taking care of business when they need to. What I mean by that is when they're playing bad teams, they're not just beating them. They're beating the shit out of them. The Warriors currently right now are 4th in the NBA in differential. They're 3rd in the NBA in differential. They only trail the Cleveland Cavaliers, who play in that pathetic excuse of a conference known as the East. They're plus 12.3. The OKC Thunder are plus 10.7. And then the Warriors are plus 10.5. What that means is they're kicking ass. They are comfortably beating teams that they're supposed to beat. And then the tough games are close, but they're still winning. With that said, and I bring that up because they took care of business tonight like they're supposed to. I think that New Orleans, easy. I hate saying easy win, but it should be an easy win. San Antonio, I'm very curious because they're an up-and-down team, man. You have no idea which team's going to show up. But the way they're playing right now with Wemby almost afraid to play in the post, like he's playing out on the perimeter. I don't know why he's doing that. It's foolish, but that's what he's doing right now, and that's great for the Warriors if he keeps doing that. The Warriors should win that game. Brooklyn, they have to. That should be a borderline guarantee. And then we get OKC. So 3-0 off the bat in terms of the 5 games you mentioned. I forgot who said that OKC is going to seek revenge. I do believe that, but I also think the Warriors will take care of business again because OKC is just not built to beat the Warriors. The OKC is almost like, I know we call the Kings the little brother of the Warriors, but OKC in terms of rosters is a real little brother, man. That is a team trying to be the Warriors. Good luck with that. You actually aren't. And then the Phoenix Suns don't have Kevin Durant, and they're reeling. Dude, yes, I think 5-0 is very feasible. And then they play at Denver on December 3rd. Side note, Nikola Jokic has been missing for like 3-4 games now. Supposedly, like he has a newborn son, and he just hasn't been there. We don't know when he's going to come back.
I don't think I would call. Usually, when you have a child like that, they don't say you're missing. I don't think he's missing.
We don't know where he's not around.
Well, but here's the
thing. He's had a child. He's missing. No, he's not missing. It's called whatever it's called, the paternity leave or something.
But NBA players don't miss 3-4 games.
She's missing. No, she's in the hospital. She just had a baby.
The reports are only calling it personal reasons, and you have to actually like go to blogger accounts to find out exactly why, and all the reasons supposedly are he has a kid. Point being, we don't know if Jokic is going to play in that game, but if he does, that is a good test. I'm very curious to see how they handle Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets. But yeah, man, I'm saying 5-0. I think they can pull it off.
All right, give me
Jokic.
4. I'll be happy with 4. Last thing I want to say tonight, you guys, is, and it's just a small part of the season so far, obviously, but we love the 11-3 record. And you know what else has been great so far about the start of this year? The Warriors are winning games at home again, man. They're 6-1 now at home. Because last year, that pissed me off more than anything else. They used to have arguably the best home court advantage in the NBA for a couple of years over in Oakland. You couldn't roll in there and get a win. And last year, dude, they were losing games at home like it was going out of style. So it's really, really good to see them defending their home court again. 6-1, I'll take it. Keep it up.
The Golden State 49ers says Warriors get Zion Williamson, Pelicans get Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, and a pick or two. I'll tell you the guy that I like on New Orleans, and he's not playing right now. I just looked up their game. They lost to the Cavs tonight, 128-100. By the way, Antonio Reeves came off the bench for the Pelicans. He's a rookie, had 34 off the bench. You don't see that very much. 34
Never
off the
heard
bench.
This guy until you just mentioned him. Antonio Reeves?
Yeah, Antonio Reeves is a guard. He played at Kentucky, and he's a scorer. He's a major
Would you
scorer.
guys do that trade, though? Because that's intriguing. I'm thinking about that.
Well, I was
trade?
just about to say, the guy that I love on New Orleans is Trey Murphy III.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's got a hamstring injury, but to me, that is the kind of guy I would trade Kuminga for. Now, people would say, well, wait, why? Because Kuminga is incredibly athletic, but Trey Murphy has got real basketball skill.
He's really
He's
good.
a 6'8" two guard who's only 24. He shot the lights out. I saw this guy at Virginia. He's got a great outside shot. Let me see what his numbers were last year.
He's only
going for 15. He's a nine. To give you an idea, he's an 87.2% foul shooter who shot over 90% from the foul line in the 2022-2023 season. He averages 15 a game. His 3-point percentage has been as high as 40 last year.
He's hurt this year, Larry. Like, so
last year was 38. But I mean, you're talking about a 40% 3-point shooter who's like a 6'9" two guard
who plays defense. He also plays defense.
Who's got long arms, who plays defense. Yeah. He is got enough skill where if I could add a player like that who's young and skilled, I would move Kuminga if I could get a super young and skilled player. But other than that, I don't want to move.
I think that's an easy one, Larry. Like, I think most people would pull the trigger on that trade. And like Golden State Valkyries in the chat saying, like, facetiously, I know you're joking, saying that Trey Murphy's a real basketball player. We know that because he actually plays. I don't know what Jonathan Kuminga is. That is my entire point. I want to know what the Warriors have with this kid. We're never going to know unless he gets a legitimate run on a consistent basis. And 15 minutes is not going to give us that answer. Anyone who says he sucks, you're full of shit. You don't know. Anyone who says he's amazing, you're also full of shit. You don't know. None of us know anything about this kid because he never plays. That is what I'm advocating for. I want minutes because here's what I do know. When he plays, like when we see him get 30 minutes a night, he delivers. He's putting up stats and the Warriors win. But that doesn't happen regularly because Kerr doesn't trust them. And I just want to see him play, man. That's my whole point with Kuminga.
That's going to pretty much do it for us tonight. We are
before we go.
An hour and 11 minutes in. We said we were going to go for an hour and 11.
Yeah, we did.
Go ahead.
That's true. That's true. And Golden State Valkyries, it doesn't matter how long Kuminga's been in the league. It's the minutes per game, okay? Like, get that in your head. As long as he is riding a bench consistently, he could play 10 fucking years. Sorry to swear. But the point is, like, he needs to have a high per game minute average before we know what the hell we're getting with him. And as a lottery pick in one of the deepest drafts in NBA history, the Warriors are doing a disservice to themselves, like jerking him around like this, dude. No one has an answer on Kuminga because he never plays. So, and the fact that he's in year 4, that doesn't matter, man. He just turned 22 years old. He doesn't have experience. He needs experience. On another note, what I want to bring up though, I'm on a mission this year to call out every flopper in the NBA. I love that Podziemski does this sometimes. Like, he'll mock other players when they do the head whip thing. Like, he mocked James Harden. I saw Trey Young tonight pull that shit again. I'm calling every flopper a pussy ass bitch because they are a pussy ass bitch. I hate it. I hate the floppers. Trey Young did that again tonight. He drew a third foul on Lindy Waters at the 5:41 mark of the second quarter, and then he missed his first free throw. Trey Young's a terrific free throw shooter. That was a ball don't lie moment. I hate floppers. Trey Young, I'm looking at you. James Harden, I'm looking at you. So I'm on a mission here to call those fools out.
Hey,
does it matter the order? Does it matter what order you're in there?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, is a pussy ass bitch the same as an ass bitch pussy?
I don't know.
A legitimate question. You know,
if you flipped it, could you go bitch ass pussy?
Yes.
Or is it a pussy ass? You're a pussy ass bitch.
Effective. Yeah,
a bitch ass pussy or an ass bitch. How about double ass bitch ass? No,
hey, whatever works, man.
Pussy. No.
And I got inspired from South Park with that line because
I just wasn't sure.
One of the episodes I remember them saying that you're a pussy ass bitch. And I was like,
how about Val says bussy ass pitch. How's that?
I don't know about any of that, but we got to request. One of the comments wants to see Cyrus fight Valkyrie on Netflix on the heels of that Tyson debacle. Let's get Cyrus and Valkyrie into Vegas.
Do I get 20 million? If yes, I'm in.
Why not?
I'm in. Let's do it.
We'll start a GoFundMe. I want to see.
I thought that Tyson fight was awesome. No, are you kidding me? That thing was just awful. My God, I was sitting there going, "What am I doing? Why am I doing this?
Me too.
What am I doing?"
Right, like, is this what it's come to? God damn. Yeah.
And my kid was like, "Dad, you don't understand. What was the guy that he fought again?
Jake
you
Paul.
Jake Paul's a badass." I'm like, "Dude, you don't understand. If if this were 1987, Jake Paul would be dead."
Oh, dude. Right. If it was 1987, he would have Jake Paul's head on the hood of his car driving through Brooklyn. Yeah.
Jake Paul. Nothing was better than when, to me, if I could put myself anywhere in time to see a sporting event that I never saw, I would put myself at the 7-Eleven in the Bronx, which supposedly at 4:00 in the morning, Mike Tyson fought Mitch Blood Green.
Yeah, man.
7-Eleven. And Mitch Blood Green then at his next presser with a gigantic shiner over his eye, he said, he goes, "Mike Michelle Tyson, I'm going to get you, sissy." He called him a sissy. He's like, "I'm going to get you, sissy." Anyway, it was an awesome moment.
That's incredible. I've never heard that story in my life. Like,
Mitch Blood Green and Tyson bare knuckle brawled it
on
at
the
a
street.
at 7-Eleven. I mean, there was probably some dude, getting a big gulp and watching that.
Tyson knocked his ass out.
Tyson knocked his ass out.
Was that the inspiration for Rocky V? Because that's how Rocky V ended, was like a street brawl like that.
Probably.
And I never understood it until I just heard the story. Was that the inspiration for Rocky V? One of the worst Rocky movies, side note. But
is that the one
Tommy? Remember Tommy Gunn or whatever?
What was his name? Tommy.
Tommy Gunn. Yeah.
Didn't he have AIDS? Tommy Morrison.
And then he did. Oh, Tommy Morrison, thank you. And then he didn't. I never that guy's a character, man. Like, you're right. He one day had HIV, and then one day didn't. I never understood what happened there.
Dude,
Mike Tyson.
I think it's time to
Tyson. Classic. That's it. That's a wrap. We got this one. Where's this? Golden State Valkyries. All love, Cyrus. Love your podcast.
Yes, right back at you. Please subscribe to Golden Days. Thank you. Love you.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Everybody hit like and subscribe. I don't know what,
baby. It's now up and running. I mean, you're not running, but it's up. People can subscribe, so when you launch it, they're ready to go, right, Paulie?
Correct. Yeah, hit me up at Paulie's Pod. Polymax Particles will launch on YouTube right alongside my man Larry Krueger. We're going to launch in January. By the way, I'm bringing Creative Tony with me. He's going to co-host the show, so it's going to be a good time. We'll see you there.
Awesome stuff. For Cy and Paulie, I'm Larry. Peace. Everybody have a great night.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of.